Just take a nice whiff of that sweet, sweet What the Podcast. Just really breathe it in.
Yikes.
Welcome back to What the Podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And together we are
Ryan and John.
on the couch, as always, Cara Tafolla, my other half. Annie the Skovmand,
It's true.
future First Lady President.
I thought you were going to say future farmer.
That would be
Future,
cool.
future farmer of America. And joining us this week is little Artie Albright.
He's sleeping.
Oh,
He's
sweepy,
out.
Yeah.
sweepy,
Yeah.
Albright.
He'd be out.
Already.
Good looking dude. Well, listen, lots to discuss today. We're jumping right into it with my lovely wife, Cara Tafolla.
That's right.
What's up? Oh,
You
she's
know-
got something.
Yeah. You know what happened yesterday?
No.
Now,
Or 2 days ago when this comes out?
let's hear it.
The Met Gala 2023.
The Met
I
Gala.
almost forgot that was happening.
I
That's
totally
crazy.
forgot about
I
it.
fully forgot. I mean, last week there was like a leaked list of people who were going.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, the Met Gala is coming up. And then yesterday, suddenly I saw on TikTok all
It
the
happened on a
outfits.
Monday night or it was on Sunday? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yep, on a Monday night.
All right. A lot of big looks, big takeaways.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
So the Met Gala is known to always have some kind of theme.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then everyone is supposed to dress for that theme. A lot of times, celebrities like to go way out of the comfort zone for this.
What was
this
the
year's
theme this year?
theme was
Carl
the
Lagerfeld.
work of Karl Lagerfeld.
Oh.
Don't know.
He was.
You'd know him. if
He
you
was.
saw him.
Would I?
Yeah, probably.
On the bus?
You've seen him.
He was the creative director of Chanel, right? For a long time.
Oh, really?
Look, he's this guy. You've
He's a
definitely
big
seen an image of him. For sure.
Interior designer. He did a lot of people's
Oh,
houses.
wow.
But here's
You
the
feel like
thing.
you've seen him before.
Don't know.
you?
Here's the thing about it, and this is one thing that I have found really funny is he was known to be like an extreme bigot.
Oh.
Like,
So why do we like him so much?
He was like anorexia is not a big problem, like super fat phobic, super like just super problematic. And so the Met Gala was like, but we can still respect his work.
Dang.
So they threw the whole Met Gala in his honor. And I was like, I feel like that's a little much. Like,
But
Yeah.
isn't, I mean, as much as like society at large is more accepting of all body types, isn't fashion still fairly like that?
Terrible.
Like,
Oh,
correct
yeah.
me if I'm wrong.
Well, yeah. You still go to New York Fashion Week and everyone is 5'11" and stick.
They're
men.
like, we're super accepting.
No.
I'm winking
So it was
for the listeners.
Karl Lagerfeld, A Line of Beauty was like the name of the theme.
Okay.
And everyone pretty much dressed in what I've been seeing in black and white, which I'm guessing were his like big interior design things.
Okay.
Oh no, this is what he looked like this all the time.
Let me see.
This was kind of his go-to.
yeah, like black,
Black
and
and
white.
white.
That was like his look.
Yeah, he passed away in 2019.
I've never seen this person before.
You've never seen this guy? I feel like he's kind of a meme. Like I feel like
Oh,
I've seen
he's
him
a total
ton,
meme.
but maybe not. Maybe you haven't
I'm
seen
not,
him.
I mean, I'm not like super hip to the fashion world anyways,
True.
regarding the
That's
Met
true.
or galas.
Yeah, there were some crazy outfits. There's some like normal black and white fun sequin ones. But then there's Jared Leto in a giant cat
Oh,
costume.
God.
To honor his,
To
I
honor
guess,
his cat.
yeah, I guess Karl Lagerfeld
Amazing.
had like this infamous cat that he was like obsessed with.
That's why Doja Cat had prosthetics
Okay, did
on
you
her
see this,
face
John?
and was
No,
an
I need to
actual
find it.
cat.
Oh yeah, here she is.
Terrifying. She did a whole interview, and all she said was meow 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 meow.
Oh my gosh. So
Meow, meow.
Emma
It
Chamberlain.
was pretty iconic, actually.
Emma Chamberlain has always been like for the past I think like 3 years.
Couple of years.
Been Vogue's like interviewee for the
So
Met Gala
strange.
carpet.
Why is that?
I have this vivid
It was-
memory of watching the first video I saw of Emma Chamberlain, and she was trying on the clothes from her childhood that she found in her mom's closet, like her clothes from when she was like 6 and under, and she was trying them on as like a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
She's
now
always been
she's
tiny,
Vogue's,
though.
Inspiring, right? I
and
mean,
that
now
woman is Vogue's choice to interview people
Oh.
at the Met Gala.
Literally,
It's true.
she
Fashion.
does so many interviews with Vogue Because it's like Vogue
Before
Teen.
it was Liza Koshy though. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's always been. I feel like
It's
for
always
a
been
long
weird.
time. It's always been kind of a weird social media
Yeah.
But
pick. You know,
Emma
Sure.
Chamberlain
diversity interview.
interviewed Doja Cat, and she meowed the whole entire time. There was a post of Doja
So good.
Cat, Madeline Klein, and then 2 other people who I don't. Oh, Aubrey Plaza, and then the designer who has been sponsoring Madeline Klein, Stella McCartney.
Sure.
Them 3. Emma
Is
Chamberlain
that daughter
was
of Paul
interviewing.
McCartney?
Yes.
Or granddaughter?
No, wife, ex-wife.
No.
That's ridiculous.
Stella?
I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
You talking about Linda McCartney?
It's the daughter. It's the daughter. Yeah.
Got it.
Daughter. But in that interview, I don't remember who. I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was
Okay.
they all start singing my favorite things
Oh.
from Sound of Music, and
How
Emma
weird.
Chamberlain is so uncomfortable. Like first she has Doja Cat meowing at her, and then these people
Yeah.
sing the entire song of my favorite things as her whole interview, and she's like, okay.
So bizarre.
Wait, why?
Yeah.
Why did that person sing my?
I don't
Favorite
know.
Thing? Is that
I
like
sure don't
part of
know.
the
Raindrops
bit?
on roses and whiskers on
I
kittens.
don't know.
Bright copper kettles.
The Met Gala
and
is like
kittens.
so. It's always been just
Weird.
Kind of
What's the point of it all?
strange,
Like,
right?
what do they do inside
Well,
the
It's
Met
supposed to
Gala?
be a fundraiser.
Is
You
there,
get
like,
you get
auction items or
invited.
something?
You get invited, and I think
Raffle
it's like
ticket drawing?
$10,000 a ticket
Oh.
after
So
you get invited.
to pay to go. Yeah, it's a whole. It's like a.
And then you literally walk around the Met.
Mm.
That's
Because
it.
what is the Met? The Met is like a museum.
It's a
museum.
museum.
Yeah.
Metropolitan Museum of Art.
So it's a fundraiser for that.
Yes, but the big thing is that these celebrities will post like pictures in the bathroom with whoever's in the bathroom, and it's like, oh, to be a fly on the wall at the Met Gala. Like, what do they talk about once they get in there?
Sure.
Because it's all you see is a red carpet. You
Right,
never see what's
sure.
inside
There's
unless
like a
some
musical
posts.
guest usually, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I heard Rihanna was a musical guest a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Just the whole thing is so strange to me.
I feel like
So
it's just
strange.
one of those things
it's
where
the fashion. It's literally like the biggest fashion event of the year. I
totally.
feel like.
We talked about Coachella a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of the same thing. Where like Coachella is this time where people just show up and they're dressed up, and it's like they make their posts and brands like sponsor them. Was that last week we talked about that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
the same thing. It's like there's just these events. If we were smart, we could just start like Albright Con, and it would be like the thing that, you know, okay, you pay $25,000, you show up and post about it on Instagram. It's like you're paying to be a part of an ad, you know? Like,
Exactly. I've been saying this.
okay.
Albright Con.
Yeah.
It could be extravagant. We could have it be Met Gala esque if we really
Yes.
want.
Yes.
Sure.
And it's like the most exclusive event in Hollywood.
Yeah, we could do that. It
I'm
could be
in.
that.
You're right though. It's like it's kind of funny to try and make something that's like similar, just to be like, it's that easy. Like you could just literally
Totally.
pretend like it's an exclusive thing, and
100%.
everyone wants to be there, and it like it's almost like Firefest was a big.
Damn.
Like,
Remember
it,
that?
it was a big deal, but like, remember that was also like a big, I felt like kind of a flyer of like, oh yeah, like all of this is kind of being held together by like, and I feel
Threads.
like Coachella is that same way. Like, I think it's obviously pretty well planned,
Mm-hmm.
but I think at the same time, it's just like this, like room full of whimsy. Like it's just like, oh yeah,
Right.
it's kind of a thing, it's kind of not a thing.
There's
and
no
it's like you pay a lot
substance
of
to
money.
it.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, yeah.
now
Yeah.
I would disagree with you in the sense that I think there's a lot of planning that goes into it and a lot of strings like puppeting the whole thing, because we
Sure.
saw with like that whole Astro World situation, like,
Yeah.
because it makes you go like, oh yeah, anyone could just get some land out in the desert and throw a festival. And it's like, well, no, actually there's like a lot of like, you gotta think about security, think about all the vendors, like somebody is coordinating all that stuff. And even for something as dumb as like the Met Gala, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very coordinated. There's like so many PR teams working
Oh, yeah.
in unison, like making sure that this girl is posting, but she's also getting in pictures of other people, and the Met is posting about who's there, and like,
Yep.
oh,
I
like
agree.
why did Jared Leto wear a cat costume? Because we're talking about it, right? You
The
know,
Met Gala
Yeah.
is another.
It's very calculated.
It's another place for a bunch of jewelers to bring out of the archives different jewelry pieces. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen on every red carpet, not even like the Oscars and the Grammys. It's always the Met Gala,
Sure.
where like someone, I read that Priyanka Chopra. Is that how you say that?
I'm with you.
Yeah. Sure. Nick Jonas's wife.
Priyanka.
Oh, no, I
How
know.
she was wearing a necklace with like a big blue diamond on it that hadn't been out of a box in 40 years.
Wow.
Like it's that kind of thing too, is for different jewelers. I know that like Tiffany had someone wear one of their like pieces for the first time.
She's incredibly generous.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of had a similar event, kind of like the Met Gala, last weekend here in
super
San
close,
Diego.
super close.
The Lakeside Rodeo.
Wow, yeah.
Don't
You
do
got a
it.
great time.
That's right.
Yes, I had the honor of taking Ryan and Cara to their first rodeo.
Yes, how was that for you as a longtime rodeo fan?
You know what's funny is you don't think it's weird until someone who hasn't been to it is pointing out the weird things to you.
Yes.
Like the fact that, it probably does hurt the cows.
You mean all the roping and
Well, yeah, and then the whole thing is
cattle
like, oh,
racing or whatever?
and, or even just like the little things like Kara's like little questions of like, what makes them kick? And I'm like, oh, well, they
John,
tie
do you know-
a rope.
John, do you know why they kick?
Yeah, it's pretty awful, right? They tie a rope around their balls.
junk,
Yeah,
right?
just.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's freaking.
But you know what? I found out recently that there's like obviously big rodeo culture, which I'm sure you already know, right? I mean, that's like a big community event like that. You know, there's like a big industry behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
So I found out that there was one family. I saw her on TikTok, and she's like, "Oh, this is our bull. Like we've raised it since it was a little calf, and they're like, there's only one person that we allow to do that, whatever it's called, a technical term, to wrap the rope, and they're like, because we know like." He's not hurting him and like the bull's used to him or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a very I mean, it might not be at the Lakeside Rodeo, I should say, but that industry typically is like it is like a really weird like I
A
don't know.
line
It is so bizarre to me. Like you could try and explain it all you want. It's like it seems like the kind of thing that somebody did a long time ago, like on accident, right?
It kind of has that same vibe of when you see the old videos of people riding motorcycles in the like spherical like bowl.
Yeah.
And you go, wow, that's cool. They probably shouldn't do that, but that's
Yeah.
cool that it happened.
This is
But
so.
it's still going.
It's like one of those things that you always talk about. Like, oh yeah, bucking Broncos is like such a thing. It's like, Why?
Why
Well,
make
Why?
them
What,
buck?
like, because there was no TV. Like,
I think some of
Exactly.
it is it's definitely probably a creation of like people that didn't have much to do, like Midwest. Like,
Sure.
there's not a lot to do out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well-
and it just made its way all the way. To
well,
California.
I mean, it spurs off of Spurs.
Nice.
Spurs off of like that's what they were using already, and so there's probably a natural competition between like
Cowboys
who's like
out
who's
on
the
the
best on
ranch.
their horse. Oh my gosh, look what they can do. Oh my goodness, they can
oh
do
my
that.
gosh!
Oh my gosh, well I
you
can
see
do that. Let's
little
try
Tommy
and compete
tied
it.
up his horse. His ball's behind him, and he's kicking around. Let's see how long we can sit on the kicking
Okay.
ball horse.
Whoa,
what
whoa.
the?
But then you look
What?
at boxing, and boxing is a sport in which there's millions and millions of dollars in it.
Sure.
And it's
Punchy.
It's literally seeing how
You punch
how
me, I punch you.
long you can last.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, only instead of a human you're against, it's the horse with their balls tied.
Who never asked to be a part of that? Yeah,
Which
sure.
yeah,
I
okay.
didn't
But
know
who
you were
cares?
Such a
But-
you're such an animal activist.
No,
Well,
and
it
I'm
was-
not truly, but in that moment when you're faced with the like true
was-
reality of like,
me, it's
here's
the-
these.
Tara.
Yeah.
It's they remember everyone. They don't feel pain. How do you know?
Oh dang.
Which that is the and
I
that,
guess we'll
that's
never
the
know.
argument that like, oh well, we know it's not hurting him.
Hey,
don't know that.
announcer man, you want me to put a tire on your balls and pull them? What are you
Maybe
gonna
he
do?
does. Maybe he does.
What are you gonna do?
He likes
We
it.
don't
I
kick
think he
shame around here.
probably is into
Actually,
that,
I think-
honestly, I could make a guess. He's probably into that.
the rodeo clowns for sure. You
Yeah,
know
100%.
exactly
Yeah,
what they're
We
doing back
also-
there.
He like that.
Go
We
ahead.
went to the rodeo with our friend Kat Pinning, whose
Yes.
family was on the rodeo circuit.
Oh.
So we kind of got to see a little like behind the veil,
BTS.
Yes.
which was funny because like it was two different sides to it. Where I grew up going to the rodeo.
Yes.
And so they asked me, they're like, how many rodeos have you been to? I was like, I don't know, like
Couple.
20. Like, I don't know. It was like every year it came and you went to
Sure.
the rodeo. It's just what you did. And then like seeing the cultural shift. And I really noticed it because I was with friends who weren't from that like circle of life.
Of
Yeah,
course.
And so like
guys.
noticing
That's
like
us.
the boots and the the outfit and you know all this stuff, and then we have like Kat and all her connections where she's like,
Yes.
we're talking like these like lingos. There's these things like, you know, phrases like buckle bunny, which are like girls who are like just there to try to sleep with the rodeo stars.
Nice.
In like these like little cultural pockets and
Yeah,
like
buckle
terms
bunny.
that you're like,
Buckle bunny. I've been calling Kara that for years. I didn't know that
What it
was like a
meant?
derogatory term. I was just like, oh, my little buckle bunny.
but it was definitely
Excuse me while I
interesting.
go through up.
I
Yeah,
gotta say,
true.
they did love it as much as Kara hated seeing the animals get hurt.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I was
loved it.
I was fascinated by it because, like you said, like you know, we're just a couple of little OB kids, you know, out here, couple of beach guys, right? Come out and watch the rodeo.
I'd rather go to medieval times.
Okay,
It
that
kind of
is
gave a similar
blasphemous.
vibe, but we'll
Nope,
just
Because it's less
Blasphemy?
animal cruelty.
well,
Ugh, disgusting.
actually
At
not-
least they just ride horses.
not entirely
That's
true.
it. They just
You know
ride
that
horses.
the knights are still what do you call
I
it?
know.
Protesting.
Not for animal cruelty though. That's just for their pay.
Yeah, true.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
Before we got to the
That'll be
rodeo,
fun.
I wanted them not to feel so like, you know, culture shocky.
Sure. So you played some music, I hope.
Yeah. Oh, I gave them what I called a rodeo education.
It was nice. I'm gonna
really-
say,
really
coming
well
from
put together.
Annie, it was great. It was great.
Really well put together. Wouldn't you know it?
Here's the thing, John, is I was taking the approach of, okay, I'm a stranger here, right? I'm about to enter into the lion's den. I got a chameleon, right?
Yeah.
I brought my hat. I brought my, you know, what do you
Yeah.
call it? My flannel.
I saw
right?
B-roll. You
Your
look
cowboy.
great.
Yeah,
You
of
look
course. Thank you.
authentic,
Thank you.
Really.
I was listening to the music with Annie. What do we hear? We heard a little
Little Toby
whiskey
Keith.
for my men, beer for my horses.
Yep.
Oh,
Born
that's
in the
that's
US of
a
A.
good song.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
a little bit of chicken fry.
like I'm gonna miss her, Brad
Beautiful
Paisley.
my
That one, Kara hated.
So good.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's talking about going fishing over
Stupid.
saving your relationship.
Stupid.
Yeah, pretty rough.
She wanted to turn that one off. The
What was
moment
the first
he's-
line of it, Annie?
It said,
I
"I
love
love
her.
her, but I love to fish." And Kara tried to turn it off.
Well,
Well, listen. We
Listen,
insert
We gotta make
fishing with whatever
choices.
you love. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they're not the first people to do
for
go
me,
with that
it's
concept,
fishing.
you know
So
what I'm
that's
saying?
it's hitting a little harder.
It's a little
for-
harder.
I just think that, you know, next year we sign you guys up for.
Go ahead.
We try to find a rodeo that has mutton racing. See how long you can hold on to the sheep.
I'd love to
I'd
do that.
So good. I would do so well.
Yeah, it's a little sheep race thing.
Jump
It'd be
on the
great.
sheep, ride
jump on
around.
sheep, hold on, you get a little helmet.
Yeah,
And I just think
yeah.
that you guys would be good at that.
I do.
I
too.
think so too. You
I'm
know what?
surprised that you didn't enjoy it, Kara. I thought
I don't
Okay,
think she
She's-
didn't
watch
okay,
enjoy
she's-
the
it.
little baby cows be freaking chokeholded.
She's
held,
put-
They
choke-held.
do throw them to the ground.
Gosh.
I will say,
It
in
looks
the
like they were
moment,
gonna snap
she's,
their
she's
necks.
she's putting on a little bit right now, but in the moment,
She liked it.
we had a good time.
No,
we
I
ate-
good
couldn't
time.
watch.
we were
most of
sitting
it.
there eating kettle corn.
No, I was
She did question
applauding
everything.
for the calves that
they got
didn't
away.
get roped.
That is true. That is
And
true.
they ran away. And
We
I
did
went, go calf,
Do
go.
a fair amount of cheering for the cows.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
They
what.
were cute.
We are in the wrong business, John.
Yeah.
Do you know? Okay, this
I
is
love
this
it.
is a little
I always
vulgar.
love when you say that.
This is a little vulgar.
Go ahead.
But part of the business is you have these people that raise these bulls also, you know, spread their seed to the rest of the business. Like if you're in
I
the
got you. Oh, like
that's
that.
fine. That's fine. Ignore it.
Don't
Ignore it.
worry about
So, one vial of bull semen from like a good
From, like, the
a
top
well-performing
that.
bull.
I'm not gonna like this.
Because the bulls are competing just like the riders are.
Sure.
And so if you want to breed your cow with a really, you know, well-performing bull, you buy this, you know, bull semen, right?
Yeah.
Take a wild guess. How much you think a couple ounces of bull semen?
One vial.
One vial.
Oh yikes! I don't know. I would say
How much would you pay personally?
Hoping that you get a bull.
Yeah, well, that of course.
Yeah, you get
don't
a
know.
cow. out of it
It's
and you're like,
50-50.
I'm just gonna tell you,
Go ahead. Tell me.
$250,000.
Oh, see, I was not even in the ballpark. But I will say.
Were you way low or were
I
you
was
way high?
low. I was a couple thousand. I was very low.
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of
And
thousands.
that's like
dollars.
baseline price. They said it could go anywhere from $250,000
Where are
to
you- where are you
half a
hearing
million.
this from?
This
That
is
was from
Cats.
Rodeo Peeps.
Kat's friend Caitlin.
Caitlin, who's her family, they did all that.
They're all
She's
in on
just
that.
totally BSing you guys. She's
Could be.
making up the whole thing.
Well, she majored, which this is another thing that you're like, what? This is a major? She majored in rodeo management or something. Kat's going to listen to this. She'll be like, that's not what it was.
You guys
Annie.
are stupid.
But basically, her thesis was to try to find a more humane way of transporting and containing the animals during the rodeo season.
Dang.
And it was very
what'd she come
interesting.
up with?
I don't know. I didn't listen to that part.
I tuned it out.
Annie.
I heard semen and I stopped listening.
I
so.
said, what? Semen?
What? Where?
Huh? Where?
Well, speaking of inhumane, just came down the pipe this weekend that the Writers Guild of America is going on strike.
That's right.
I heard about this.
Did you hear about this?
Again.
No?
They are
Also-
striking. So any, union writers, all the basically big head writers of your favorite movies, your favorite TV shows, all weekend were cramming to finish their writing because once the strike starts, it's
You
like
can't do
you
it.
can't write. You can't. We got to get our terms fulfilled and we got to, get our contracts, and they're basically just in this battle with all the big major studios. The
Yeah.
Writers Guild is.
I heard about this too, and I heard that basically all of Hollywood kind of shuts down to some degree. But I also heard that I didn't know that all the late night shows, because all the writers are gone, they're just going to be posting reruns until they figure this out.
Really?
Interesting.
Because a lot of late night hosts, and they said the only exception was Conan when he was on. When there
Yeah.
was a writers' strike a couple of years ago,
Yes.
he said that he was the only show that was still putting stuff out. But it's a
They were
double
doing
edged
improv.
because
Yeah.
these guys are smart enough to do it, but they don't want to do it just because it's kind of like a slap in the face to their writing staff.
Of course.
Because they're like, if I do the job, then the network's not going to have a lot of heat. So a lot of these late night hosts will specifically not do it, not because they can't write, but because they are trying to stand in solidarity with their friends that
course.
are in this kind of thing. But I was like, I don't ever remember hearing that in the last one. But
Sure.
they said that it's pretty normal that every time there's a writer's strike, which happens, they say every 4 to 5 years.
Yep. They got to renegotiate their terms and their contracts.
All the late night hosts will go, and they said your TV shows won't be affected if they can resolve it quickly,
Right.
because they've already written and
Yeah.
filmed a lot of that.
Now
stuff.
things will happen where if something's in production, in pre-production right now, it's boned. If they were about to start production, totally boned. If they're already in post-production, they're fine because it's already been written and it's done.
The editor's on a
But
strike.
pretty famously, one of the James Bond movies, I think it was Quantum Solace, was right in the middle of pre-production as this writer's strike went off. And that's why if you watch this movie, it's really good up until the end where they seemingly just had to wrap things up. It just sort of ends. And it's that's a straight up, just what do you call it? Just straight from that,
Yeah.
The writers can't do their jobs.
What are we
So-
going to do? So, we can't produce new podcasts because
No,
our
so-
writers will be on strike too.
Yeah, so this is actually the last episode our writers got to do
Shoot.
before they went on
Bye,
strike.
everyone.
Bye.
Like-
That's
Yes.
what I was listening to.
Now we just
I
have
was
to
listening to a
talk.
radio host. They're the ones that was telling me all this information, and they were like, "We put out 20 hours a week of content. We don't have a single writer." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, sure."
Can you
I
believe
guess.
it?
That's crazy.
It's kind of one of those things. It's yeah, you got to value your story. If the story is not good, the show can't be made. Whatever it is,
Yeah,
TV,
totally.
movie,
Especially a $1 billion business.
multi-billions.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just pay people a livable wage. Why are we doing this? Come
Yep.
on.
Yep.
Oh,
Margins.
it is livable. They just want more.
It's all margins,
Well- You
guys.
greedy
They're
bastards.
trying to shave off
Yeah.
millions of
Yeah.
dollars. here and
Listen.
Go on strike. Whatever.
You don't watch a show just because it's on a certain network or just because it comes from Disney, right? These days, it's oh, what's that? Oh, that movie, that show, what's it on? Netflix, Hulu, Amazon? Don't care. I'll go watch it if it's good enough, right?
Not Netflix.
Did you guys watch Beef yet?
Oh
no,
my
I hear
gosh,
great
you
things
guys.
though.
Me and Ryan binged it in what?
2
2
days, 2 or
days.
3 days. So
It
good.
is. They're only 30-minute episodes.
Oh,
It
beautiful.
was.
Yeah,
the
which, by the way,
entire
gotta get
time
back to that.
Crazy.
Yeah, start to finish, fantastic. Stephen Yoon,
So
Ali,
good. Ali Wong.
Ali Wong,
So
two
good.
powerhouses.
I hate when you wanna sit down and watch an ep, and it's like an hour and
An
a
hour
half.
20.
You're like, that's a movie,
That's
guys.
Succession.
And they're like, no, movies are 2 hours and 30 minutes now. And I go, no, they shouldn't be.
That's like when you watch The Bachelor on TV. It's 2 hours because of commercials. You watch it on Hulu. It's like
45
60
minutes.
It's like an hour.
Yeah.
Commercials are like a full flipping hour.
Dang.
Yeah. But I like the longer form content just because I feel like I watched a show that was 30-minute episodes. What was it? I just finished it. And it was just like it sometimes just goes by so quick, you know?
That's like I started watching what's the one with Jason Segel and he's
Ted
a
Lasso.
therapist.
Oh,
Oh, not Ted Lasso.
You're talking
Yes, and it has Harrison Ford in it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
It's right there on the tip of my brain.
I don't know.
Tip of my
I
brain.
see that clip on TikTok all the time. TikTok when
Nice.
he's like playing the piano and like, no, I like having an argument with himself, and it's just like complete chaos.
Yeah, we watched a couple episodes of that. And
It sucked. Horrible.
Hold on. Therapy. God,
Therapists.
I hate that.
You're a therapist?
No. What are you? Shrinking.
Oh.
Shrinking.
Yeah.
Shrinking.
There it
By the way,
is.
that clip you watched is from Forgetting Sarah Marshall, not from Shrinking.
Oh well, JK.
But hey,
watched-
who cares? We just watch movies on TikTok.
I
Doesn't
watched
I
matter.
really do.
a show a while back and it actually got canceled. It was one season. It was called The Patient with Steve Carell. And it was
Yes.
it was a therapist that got kidnapped by one of his patients, the whole thing.
So
And
good.
that
It
was
got
like
canceled?
yeah, it did.
It was just the one season, I think.
No, I thought it was just the one.
okay,
right?
Well, it's
Well, they
not,
get picked up
it's
for
not
two.
playing anymore.
That's
And,
sad.
It's
That
off.
was a good.
that was like another one where it was like 35 minutes, and it was coming out like everything nowadays, where it's like one every like on Friday or whatever, once a week, and it was so awful because the episodes were like so short and like they'd barely cover any ground,
Yeah.
and then you'd have to wait another week, and I'm like, dude, this sucks. That's where like Succession, you mentioned Succession,
Yes.
it's great because it's like a full hour.
And you always get from Succession like a meaty bit too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
It
Oh,
really
yeah.
lets you get
Seen
into the story.
Succession?
Anytime now, and he's gonna start watching it. 4 seasons for you. You could just binge it.
Gosh.
Just binge right through
Annie,
it.
it's something you can't binge.
Well,
It's
you could if you tried.
You get tired watching those.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I
It's-
need a brain break
yeah.
every once in a while. All the
I was so
a lot.
inspired by it. I was telling Ryan, I was like, it like something. It was just so cool to see how fast paced everything is, and you realize like big company America is like, you know, these like execs, like people that own these big companies, and also people that work at the top of these companies. You just start to realize like, oh, they don't have like a normal life. Like it's
Totally.
like there is no 9 to 5 for these people. It's like at any moment in time there can be an emergency board meeting and it like has to happen right then and there.
True.
And it's crazy.
Well,
to
it's
me.
like Paris Hilton just had an interview on Armchair Expert
Mm-hmm.
because her memoir just came out, or some book or something.
By the
or
way, check that out.
documentary or
Dax
something.
Shepard. What's it called? It's
Yeah,
called
go ahead and-
Armchair Expert. Go ahead and check that
plug
podcast
Armchair
out.
Expert.
Anyway,
Always,
she was
every
interesting
time.
because she was talking about her husband of like that she married last year or something
Perez.
like that.
Mr. Perez.
Perez Hilton.
And it was really interesting because she was saying how when they met, she wasn't even like, because I guess they had known each other for like 14 years before
Yeah.
she even thought of him as like romantic. And Dax Shepard was like, how did that happen? She goes, at the time, keep in mind, I was traveling like 50 weeks out of the year.
Dang.
It was like 260 something days out of the year she was traveling.
What for? Just for fun?
DJing and makeup launches and
Dang.
perfume launches, and
she's a
she has a
DJ.
production company, and she has a
Paris Hilton?
podcast company, and she's a DJ, and she's a
Crazy.
and she has a clothing line, and she has a makeup brand, and she
Podcast
just like
company.
has her hand in so many freaking
DJ.
I want to be a
like
part of the
pots.
Hilton podcast network. That's what I want to be a part of.
What would you?
Okay,
Okay,
let's
go
pitch
ahead.
that.
Title for that podcast. Go ahead.
What?
Just what do you got?
No, I want
Pitch it.
I want
No,
to get
pitch it.
this
Pitch
on
it.
that network.
Okay,
I'm not pitching it.
Okay,
No.
they want
Vancouver Marriott.
they want to
My spin-off of
rebrand.
Paris Hilton.
Yes. Oh, nice. Nice. Did you ever realize that like in what do you call it? Sweet Life of Zach and Cody,
Oh yeah,
London Tipton.
London Tipton.
Yeah.
'Cause
yeah.
It's like
Paris
Paris,
Hilton.
Hilton, London, Tipton.
yeah.
Pretty funny.
very
Pretty-
That's-
oh, cool. Thanks.
No, it's cool.
No, I know. I know. I'm very cool.
Did you also know that in Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, they switched the
The kids halfway through the show.
No.
Zach started playing Cody.
No.
Cody started playing Zach.
They,
Great.
they switched the what's it called when it's like
Yeah.
they made the Asian character
Yes.
dumb and they made the blonde
That's
smart.
right. That's right. The stereotypes.
The stereotypes.
Yeah.
They switched them in
Pretty
that show.
pretty clever writing on that show, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always loved it. I always enjoyed the writing. That's what I used to say when I was 15. I was like, the writing on Zack and Cody is just like so dynamite.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like show's
Especially
catchy,
Sweet Life on
show's
Deck.
cool,
Right. Right.
There's
but the writing
Especially-
is like
Listen,
keep you
and
captivated.
that just goes to show you when the writers are well fed,
Well-fed.
their bread is buttered,
things are happening.
the shows just
When-
happen.
The writing is there,
Yes.
of course.
There was an animator strike in like 2009. And do you remember all those like live action shows from Cartoon Network? Do you remember
Live
like
action shows?
like Cartoon Network and Disney Channel, and these shows got very like practical, like all of that, because do you remember what was it?
Yeah.
They'd like blow stuff up, and there was like a lot of like kid like challenge shows. Destroy,
Oh.
Build, Destroy. Do you guys ever see
Oh, I
that
do
show?
remember that.
There was a bunch of shows like that because it was the same thing. The animators were on strike. You know, when you're a kid, you're like,
Damn.
I don't know. I just thought they were like weird shows.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of weird shows, John,
This.
you spent a day at Disneyland yesterday.
I did, and I'll tell you what, I don't go to Disneyland often, but when I do, I'm always so surprised how amazing, like, and detailed Disneyland is. I
Yes.
Is Disneyland a weird show?
Okay,
mean,
relax.
all right, just
Keep it
take-
going. Keep it going.
take-
Go through
take a deep
transition.
Go ahead.
breath, all right?
Go ahead.
And
First of
just-
all, happy anniversary. You were there
Aw.
celebrating your
Aw.
1 year
I appreciate
anniversary
I appreciate that. Yeah,
in
no,
the happiest place on earth.
yeah, we're not huge Disney people, but it was fun to like get away, and that's kind of what made it fun is that we don't normally do Disney. But I'm always blown away. I was texting you kind of off and on the whole day, like at how insanely detailed everything is. We went to Galaxy's Edge, which I
Yes.
realized I'd been there before, but this time I think I was just looking at all the little things. And just,
Yeah.
like every little vent in there too it has like a sound effect coming out of it, like it's like a machine
Yes.
is working behind it, which is like
crazy.
so crazy to me. But I was just reminded that like Disney is like, you know, it's king on details and
Absolutely.
how clean their parks are too. I mean, I think a lot of parks are modeling after Disney in that sense, where they're like, you know, they're kind of picking up on the trash can every 10 feet or
Yeah.
whatever it is, you know,
Sure.
to keep trash down and all that stuff. But okay, well, go ahead, Annie. What do you got to say over there?
Let me just say, Disneyland, unimpressed.
Okay, when was the last
When's
time you
the
were
last time you
there,
went?
Junior?
All right.
Go ahead.
I don't remember.
10 years ago
But
for a
you don't
birthday party.
remember.
Oh, no, I was definitely. I mean, I've been to
High
downtown
school?
Disney a lot in the last couple of years, randomly.
No.
Okay,
Disney
so
though.
just
But,
let's just take a beat there. Not impressed.
Probably
Haven't been there in 20 years.
2017 was the last time I went.
Okay, how can you not be
That's
impressed?
so long.
No. Oh, I was specifically talking about the cleanliness.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh yeah.
maybe
So,
they've stepped their game up since COVID.
Sure.
Hopefully. Oh, probably they have.
I would imagine they have.
I have this memory of Disneyland in which I had a friend who ate a whole bag of the cherry sour balls.
Oh, frick no.
nice.
Oh no, did they
Amazing.
throw up bread?
So good. Those things are
Very
a
good.
literal
No, they're
crack.
Yeah, they are.
That's all she ate the whole day. Cherry
I think I know
sour.
who this is. I won't say who it is, though.
And
I'll keep it
she
private.
vomited
Yep. Red blood.
during the
Not
parade
blood, for the record.
on
It
Main
probably
Street.
looks like it. Probably
Red
looks like
cherry.
it
On Main Street where everyone's sitting like right behind this girl. Like everyone's sitting watching the parade and she just like we're walking, stops, you know, and
Oh,
so then we're like, okay, we have to get someone to clean this up. We go into the like stores right off of Main Street. We're like, hey, there's like throw up right here, all this stuff. They're like, oh yeah, okay, we'll get someone to clean up.
Can you do your throw up noise again just one more time? Thank you. Dang.
What's your
And-
best throw up?
though. Can we
Well,
not?
I was
Can we
trying
not?
I was
please?
trying not to do a
Kara?
real
Go ahead,
throw up
Aaron,
voice.
go ahead.
No,
Kara,
no,
best
People
throw
are
up
gonna
song.
listen.
Okay.
no. This is when I would turn this podcast off.
Straight up.
God.
Well, that's pretty good
Exactly.
retention rate, actually.
And this is what we get when our writers are on strike.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of that,
We're
you know what I'm
forced
saying?
to do,
To do
lowbrow
stupid
comedy.
things. Low break. But we stood there for a solid like 30 minutes with no one in sight to come clean it up. Multiple times we'd go check around. We'd try to
Dang.
find like a janitor, try to find anything. Nobody was coming. And finally we
Yikes.
just like covered it in like napkins because we had to go because she was sick.
Wow.
And we told the people sitting in front of her, we said, hey, careful, there's throw up behind you. And we left.
Dang.
30 minutes. No one in
Dang.
Disneyland came to clean up human vomit.
Yeah,
Well,
it's definitely different.
Let's
Bad.
give them the benefit of the doubt. John, give
Down
me a
with
couple more
mouths.
takeaways. You liked Star Wars Land.
Going on. Yeah, I mean, it was like I said, it was really cool, and like the food is kind of the tour now for us.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, because we did a couple of rides.
Hard
And,
agree.
Like we did like the Pirates of the Caribbean classic. You know what I'm saying? And we
Love.
did this. The Incredicoaster, formerly California Screamin', is what I remember it as.
Sure, sure.
So good.
And you know, just like little things here and there. We did soaring over the world now.
Yes,
Blech.
Lame.
that's
Which
right.
I
There
think
was
is-
her best
There
throw
it
up
was.
sound.
Blech.
Blech. And we got it, and that's it.
Soundbite,
And
done.
Did you guys get that in the studio?
Yeah,
okay,
we got it.
they got it.
And so like the food.
They're
is,
on strike. They didn't get it.
Thank
What
you.
I'll say is that the food is like, that's the best thing they could have done. I feel like in the last 10 years, it's kind of
It's been
revolutionized.
foodie. It's
Totally
Yeah.
has.
It's because it's Disney adults.
It's
Disney
so
dolls love food.
good. And I was gonna say, we were walking through the stores a lot, just because that was kind of the fun thing to do is like see what's all there.
Yep.
And I was telling Jordan, I was like, I wish I was like a Disney freak, like really into Disney or a Disney adult, because there's so much availability in like merch.
Yep.
Yes.
That like if I was really into Disney,
You'd
like
love it. You'd eat it up.
oh, I'd have everything. It's
you
like
can start today.
well, I
You
thought
can just
about
like it.
but no, I do like Disney, but I'm not like the type to have like I just don't like I wouldn't want to wear like a Disney sweatshirt or a Disney shirt like on a normal Tuesday. You know what I'm
Sure.
I
saying?
wore my Disneyland sweatshirt
I'm not like one
yesterday.
of those people. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So I'm
right,
like
right.
And I would say that even that there's probably multiple layers to that.
Because
you know,
there's a casual Disney fan in there.
Sure.
Because yeah, like the vintage. I really like lately. They've had a lot of like vintage looking merch.
Yeah.
Like shirts
Yeah.
and all that. Like kind of hard. And I know it's all just a snake eating its own tail because it's like just more of the same. But it kind of makes you feel like you're in on like, oh yeah, like the old school Disney stuff. You know. I
yeah,
don't know.
and I like look at pins and I'm like, man, if I was into like if I was fully bought in,
Yeah.
I'd have like 1,000 pins. You know,
And
what I'm
there's
saying?
like
It'd be so
pin
fun.
trading.
Right.
People go so deep into
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And I
my
kind
gosh,
of,
yeah.
kind of was like a couple of years ago. My brother and I had passes, and it was like I kind of got. I was starting to get into that, like having pins and all this stuff. But I just, something. And this is weird. This has been kind of me in the last couple of years. It's just been like everything that I like. I'll look at something and I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool to have. But then I'm like, logistically, will I ever use it or wear it? You know what I'm saying? So that's even like even for us, we were looking for like something for our nephews to bring home.
Sure.
Because we were like, oh, I want to get him something. We were thinking about him the whole time because it is just such a kid's thing. You see all these little kids and we were like, they don't need another like toy. You know what I'm saying? So we
Yeah.
ended up getting them like these cool little Disney candies because we're like, oh, that's
No,
nice.
eat it and enjoy it for
and
that
be
moment.
done, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying is like I look at things now and I'm like, especially with Disney, I'm like, sure that would be really cool, but like I won't be back to Disney
Yeah.
for at least another year.
I am fighting a very different battle where I am constantly acquiring little tchotchkes
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
don't need in my life and then
Yeah.
having to purge them every 6 months,
But
Yeah.
you do the purging. I think that's the difference. Is like I don't
Yeah.
know. Like if I just like started acquiring things to acquire things, I don't have the like you. I know you do this with your wardrobe.
Yes.
Pretty frequently, where you're like you just kind of go through and you just get rid of everything.
Yeah.
And then you like
Yeah.
we kind of reacquire, and I think that's cool. But like I'm not my personality type isn't to like go through and do like a full,
Annie,
sweep,
are you
but-
downsized or are you little tchotchke friendly?
Or both.
or both?
Or both.
I'm
What's the cycle for
I'm
you?
sentimental. I was actually with Jordan the other day at Home Goods, and she was looking at big pieces of art, and she said something. She goes, "You
That's
really."
not good.
She
Tell her
goes,
no.
she goes, well, Annie, well, don't worry. I told her no, a precursor, unfortunately. She's like, you really ruined it for me. And I was like, what? And she goes, forever ago, you said that, everything in your house, you want to have like a story, a connection to, which is true. So like, I want to know everything about the artist or personally know the artist or personally know the photographer. And I want to have like prints
Right.
of like, I know everything about every print in my house. And like tchotchkes have to be like gifts or sentimental or from whatever. And it's literally cripples me to the point where then I'm like, I can't get rid of it because now it's all sentimental.
Or your house is just
Oh,
completely
yes.
empty. You're like, I have
just
blank
like
walls.
blank walls.
That would
Yeah.
be amazing.
That's I think of our house and I'm like, oh, I have a bunch of sentimental things, all this stuff. At my parents' house, I have a whole chest full
Dolls,
of. It's
right?
called my memory chest.
Dolls.
Also the
Memory
dolls.
dolls.
There's dolls in there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
there are.
okay, yeah, I thought I was
But it's like
imagining
it's literally
that. I thought I
like
was a scary
Like, was
movie,
that a
you know what I'm
nightmare I
saying?
had?
Did I
it's
have a
like
nightmare?
yearbooks from elementary school,
Yeah.
art
Yeah.
projects from
Yeah.
elementary. Like in this
Yeah.
giant chest, I have my cheer uniform from high school.
Mm-hmm.
I have a high school sweatshirt that I would never wear now, but it's in the chest.
Brian's like, go ahead, pick up that cheer uniform.
I like that. Wait a second. You still have that? Wow.
No,
I have my 8th grade cheer
Go
uniform
on.
and my freshman
I have my
uniform.
Catholic school uniforms.
No,
Where?
mom,
Can you-
mom
It was
kept
just,
those.
it was just an iron-on patch that Brian's mom used to iron on all
Yeah.
his shirts.
She would just go to Old Navy, pick up some new clothes, and be like, "Here's your uniform
The
for
school
today,
of
honey."
Tafolla. School starts at 8 a.m.
I don't get it.
She put a hairnet on to make him feel like he was in a cafeteria at lunch.
She put a different hat on or something.
She was like,
now we're in
"Ooh,"
math.
and it was a whole character, the lunch
I went to a
lady.
very real school, okay?
Okay, take
Look
us
it
by
up.
Let's go drop by.
I'm
it today.
literally going to bring like a PowerPoint presentation.
Well, that doesn't
So like,
actually
let's go
prove
visit
anything.
it. After this,
I
let's
will
go
doctor
visit
it
your
up.
school.
Okay. Yeah, very funny. Yeah,
Why can't-
the apartment complex that formerly was my elementary school. Yeah.
and middle school and
Thanks.
high school.
No,
That's
that's
what I'm
that's a
saying.
different school.
I'm just saying, if I found out that you fully fantasized your whole childhood that you were homeschooled, I would be like, I know. Like
I
he was
know.
homeschooled. You know what I'm
if I
saying?
one day reveal that I'm like, guys, it's all been a bit. I was homeschooled.
Or if we're just like sitting around the fire one day with his parents, and Tanya's like, "No, yeah, we homeschooled all of our kids," and we'd be like,
what?
"We
We
knew
knew
it."
it.
Yeah.
And Ryan's having a crisis, like, "No, you didn't."
No, you didn't.
I didn't-
I swear,
It was
I
real.
remember it.
They were real.
Oh, that
it
was
was like
like-
that Florence Pugh. Don't say that. It was real. It was real to me.
Annie, I love when Annie quotes movies she hasn't seen.
Yeah.
Look, folks,
So
we are we're wrapping up here. Can
Yeah, I
you
was gonna
believe
say,
it?
do you want to talk about it?
I will talk about it. Guys, what the podcast is taking on a little bit of a different form, shape, starting this episode 128. We're just going to be shortening our main episodes, and we're going to give you an opportunity to kind of catch up with us personally in what we're going to be calling the post show, right? A little bit of a catch up, a little bit of a, just shooting the shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for the month of May, however, all of the post shows are going to be free to watch on our YouTube channel, free to listen to. And starting in June, our episodes, the post show is going to be going live on our Patreon.
True.
We are really excited about this, but this is a big leap for us. We are, a little apprehensive about, it's a hard thing when we're having so much fun to then try and start making money off of it. But
I agree.
it's just
Not for me.
not
Give me
for
your
Annie.
money, damn it.
Annie's been pushing for it for
Annie's been
128
asking
episodes.
for money from us for a long
Before
time.
she was even on the show, she was
Money,
asking for money.
please.
But this is just a way of just extending ourselves into our community that we want to be a part of, and we just know that you guys are going to be awesome and just
Support us.
reciprocate it.
Yeah,
So
But
check
this month
that
for
out.
free.
First couple are going to be free, and starting next month, you're gonna have to if you like the post show, which I think you will. We're pretty funny people, but you're gonna have to
Or if you send us a message and
Grease
you
a
have some
few
cool
palms.
tchotchkes to send.
Oh,
Yeah.
we also
Ooh, if you have
you pay in
vintage
tchotchkes?
Disney,
We
also
take
accept
tchotchkes.
tchotchkes as payment.
anything with a good story behind it.
Albright Entertainment.
so
Disclaimer: that is not true. We like money. But thank you all so much for being a part of this. And just as always, we're still going to be posting our main episode for the week on all streaming platforms as well as the video on YouTube.
That's right.
Ooh.
Ooh, spooky.
Big things about to happen this summer for What the Podcast.
True. Exciting
And
stuff.
thank
We'll
you
talk
guys.
about it on the post show.
Ooh, and if you want to hear more, you'll hear it on the post show. On the couch as always, Cara Tafolla, Annie the Skovmand. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you next week on What the Podcast.
Don't forget Arthur.
Oh, and Artie.
Audie,
Artie Albright.